Now that we've reviewed the weekly budget worksheet and we've taken a look at an overview of this, I want to walk you through what it looks like to be over budget versus what it looks like to be within your budget and to accomplish zero-based budgeting. Now, this is a realistic budget worksheet. This is something that I've used, and it's also something that other people use. Now, this is a budget based on someone that makes approximately $68,000 a year salary, give or take a few thousand. Now, as you can see here, there's formulas behind these numbers. You don't have to enter anything in the summary column. You do not have to enter anything under month to date columns because those are formulas there. And you don't have to enter anything under these total columns. As you can see, I've highlighted them in the same color as these categories so that it's easier to find. You only need to focus on the white space within these detailed subcategories like your wages, etc. Any savings that you have here, your weekly expenses for your home, daily living, etc. that I went over in part one of the budget worksheet overview. Once you've entered this information, the totals will be calculated for you as well as month to date. As you can see here, this person went over on their budget in week 1 and week 4. Week 1, it's very natural to go over budget because that's the week that we pay our mortgage and we have or pay our rent. So we have some higher expenses. As you can see, their mortgage was $900. Now, I know you might be thinking $900 isn't that much. That doesn't seem realistic. It actually is. I do know people that pay $900 a month in Texas for their mortgage, and their taxes and insurance and HOA fees are separate. And so that's what you call escrow. And when you add this up along with your $900 mortgage, that gives almost $1,300 a month that you are paying in your mortgage and your escrow. Okay. So this person went over by a little over $300 in week 1. And then in week 4, they went over by $157. And at the end of the month, they were over negative $164.15. And so, based on the money that they made that month, the money that they spent and put in savings, they were still over budget. But we can't be over budget because if we're in the negative, we're going to rob Peter to pay Paul. We're going to rob our savings to pay for our expenses, or we're going to go and get a credit card, and we don't want to do that. And so, let me show you how to bring this budget back to not being over budget and making sure that you do accomplish zero-based budgeting. We're going to click on the next tab here, and I'm calling this weekly budget zero-based, and I'm going to explain that to you. So now you're looking at this and you're like, oh my God, what changed? Where did the red numbers go? Well, that's why I've highlighted this here for you. So what I did is I took out the money that the person was saving week 1 and week 4. And I said, well, we're just not going to put any money in our savings account for week 1 and week 4. And I know you might be thinking, oh no, we want to save. You're still going to have an opportunity to build those savings accounts up, but not at the expense of being over and having to use a credit card or anything like that. All right. So by removing the savings from week 1 and week 4, we are now in the green for each week. I did put this here because I wanted you to see the difference between how much money you saved versus how much money you were losing when you were going over budget. A $650 difference. So you were in the negative by, let's see what this was, $164. And now you're in the green and have over $485 to spare. So you've brought that amount to changing your budget in a way that you are saving $650 because you would have been overspending in that last budget worksheet, and now you have more than enough money. So this is what I want to show you here. Once you see that you're in the green, let's account for every dollar that we have. And that is what zero-based budgeting is. So I see here I have $7.69 left over in week one from the money that I made in my income versus what I spent. I think I'm going to put that $7.69 in my emergency fund. Let's do that. And so I've zeroed out my budget for week one. It looks like I have an additional $237.69. I think I want to add some money in maybe some other investments that I see fit. So I'm going to add $237.69 in my other investments. And it looks like I have $222.69 left over in week three. Why don't we add a little bit of extra money to that escrow? It's always good to have extra just in case taxes and insurance go up. So let's do that. And then in week four, as you can see, we have about $17.77 extra. So let's go ahead and add that into our emergency fund. Now, is this how I would split out my savings? No, absolutely not. I would likely take this extra $200 and put it in my emergency fund. But just for the sake of simplicity, we're doing it this way. If you do want to know how to do that, you can either take your calculator on your phone or your calculator in hand and just add 237.69 to $50 gives you 287.69. You can put the 287.69 like this by deleting this here and then writing or typing 287.69 here. You're back at zero for week two. Or you can do what I typically do. So you had $50 here and you had the extra 237. If you click here, but you double click you into that cell, you can, and that is cell what? C27. Just type an equal sign there in front of the 50 and you can go behind the 50 and type a plus sign and then type the amount that you see up here. 237 and 69 cents. And when you hit equal, it'll give you that amount here. So we're still back at zero. I would typically put the extra money in an emergency fund or a sinking fund. Not always in escrow, but you kind of get the point, right? So we'll leave that as such. Now, as you can see here, each week you've managed to tell every dollar, every cent where to go. You had money left over, which is why you were in the green each week. And you had the money left over because you knew to take some of that money from savings and then whatever you had left over, you went ahead and put it in savings. You could have come down here and looked for different expenses to cut. Sometimes it's a good idea to look at what expenses can I cut. You could cut your entertainment budget. I highlighted that down there. Actually, let's take a look at what entertainment was when we were on the weekly budget over. We may have been over budget due to entertainment too. Look at that, guys. We were entertaining ourselves all month long. We took no breaks from entertainment, but we work hard so we play hard, right? So, what we did instead of entertaining ourselves each of these 4 weeks, what we did here is we said, we'll spend entertainment money in week two and week four. And some people may feel like, oh no, I want to do something fun each weekend. Rightfully so. So, you could say, you know what? I'm going to maybe go see a movie, go to a bar, have a drink or two in week one. And then in week two, I'll do more dining out, have my favorite Starbucks coffee. Week three, back to the, club or a play, a sporting event, have some drinks here. And in week four, back to the dining out and having my favorite cup of tea or something like that. You could have stretched all this and like move this here to week one, move this these items here to week three, and then had something to do each week that you are not working and just want to let your hair down, have some me time or some time with family and friends. So we definitely did cut some entertainment budget, which is why it was highlighted below. But then we also cut some things down on our savings so that we could end up not overspending and then eventually being able to tell every extra dollar where to go. And guys, because we had extra money in these weeks, we could have easily spent more money on our entertainment budget or more money on accessories or buying ourselves some nice things. So there's different things that you can do with your money. All right. And as you can see, month to date, we've zeroed this out down to the penny. And that is how we take ourselves from overspending and being over budget down to zero based budgeting.